Hello guys, welcome to the lecture 44 of deep learning series. In this video, we'll be discussing about our fourth optimizer, that is RMSProp optimizer. Okay, now before discussing about what is RMSProp optimizer, we'll be discussing why this RMSProp optimizer is introduced. Okay, now in our previous video, we have discussed about AdaGrad optimizer. Okay, we have seen the major limitation of AdaGrad optimizer, that is, it is unable to reach to its global minimum point. Okay, but the major advantage with AdaGrad optimizer is it is basically solving the problem of elongated Boole problem. Okay, now in case of elongated Boole problem, if this is the graph between weight and bias and this is the global minimum point. Now in elongated Boole problem, the basic optimizers like SGD and batch gradient descent, it may be NAG. Okay, this kind of optimizer follow this path. Okay, now due to this path, what happens is the training time increases. Now, after introducing this AdaGrad optimizer, this curvy nature has been decreased. Okay, the AdaGrad optimizer is choosing the shortest path to reach this global minimum point. Okay, now this is the basic advantage of AdaGrad optimizer. Now what is the disadvantage of AdaGrad optimizer? The AdaGrad optimizer is getting closer to this global minimum point but unable to reach to this global minimum point. Okay, this AdaGrad optimizer is getting closer to this global minimum point. Okay, you can see that it is getting closer to the global minimum point but it is unable to reach to this global minimum point. Okay, this is the biggest disadvantage of AdaGrad optimizer. Okay, now we'll be seeing the mathematics of this AdaGrad optimizer and we'll be seeing what are the improvements that are made in RMSProp optimizer. Okay, we'll be not going deep into the AdaGrad optimizer mathematics as we have already seen in the previous video. Just we'll be writing down the formula and let us decode each of the formula. Okay, and then we'll be seeing what additionally is added to RMSProp optimizer. Okay, first Vt is equal to Vt minus 1 plus yeah, this is the formula of AdaGrad optimizer. Okay, now what is the problem with this formula? Yeah, now the AdaGrad optimizer is unable to reach to this global minimum point due to this learning rate. As the number of epochs are getting increased, okay, as the number of epochs are getting increased, the learning rate is becoming very much smaller. Okay, we have seen already this in the previous video. As the number of epochs are getting increased, okay, as the number of epochs are getting increased, this learning rate value is getting very much smaller. Okay, this learning rate value is getting very much smaller. Now what is the basic reason so that this learning rate is getting so much smaller? Okay, this is due to this Vt value. Okay, this Vt is nothing but the squared sum of previous gradients. Okay, this Vt is nothing but the squared sum of previous gradients. Okay, due to this Vt value, as this Vt value is getting larger, as it is used in the denominator, this learning rate value is getting very much smaller. Okay, as the epochs increase, this learning rate value is getting very much smaller. Okay, this is the problem. Okay, now this Vt value is indirectly dependent on, okay, this Vt value is indirectly dependent on the squared sum of gradients, right? This Vt value is indirectly dependent on the all the gradients, okay, all the previous gradients. Okay, as this squared sum is getting higher, this Vt value is also getting higher. So as this Vt value is getting higher, as it is used in the denominator, this entire learning rate value is getting decreased. Okay, now we need to we need to have an approach such that this Vt value should be smaller. Okay, our aim is to decrease this Vt value, but to decrease this Vt value, we need to somehow modify the gradients. Okay, we need to somehow modify the gradients. Okay, the modification that came, okay, the modification that came in the RMSProp optimizer. Okay, the modification that came is in the RMSProp optimizer. Now let's see how the modification has been done. Vt minus 1, 1 minus beta. Yeah, this is the only modification that is done in the RMSProp optimizer so as to reduce this value of Vt. Okay, that is squared sum of previous gradients. Okay, this beta value specifies the decaying factor. Okay, I have already explained about this decaying factor in my exponentially weighted moving average video. Okay, this beta value is nothing but decaying factor. The most common value of this beta is 0.95. Okay, now what this beta value specifies? Okay, this beta value specifies the importance that must be given to the previous gradients. Okay, it indirectly specifies how many, okay, how many previous gradients that has to be considered. Okay, how many previous gradients that has to be considered in the calculation of Vt. Okay, here, okay, here in case of AdaGrad optimizer, we are giving equal importance. Okay, we are giving equal importance to all the previous gradients. Okay, from the first epoch to very 100th epoch, all the gradients, okay, all the gradients in between are given equal importance. Okay, so that this Vt value is getting very much larger. But in case of RMSProp optimizer, what you do is you give some importance in the ascending order. Okay, now the very first epoch has some importance, and the very 100th epoch, okay, when it comes to the very 100th epoch of the same gradient is given less importance. Okay, at first epoch you will be having particular gradient. Okay, it is more highly given importance. Okay, it is given high importance. But when the same gradients, when it comes to the, okay, when the same gradient, when it comes to the 100th epoch, it is given very very much low importance. Okay, in determining the value of Vt. Okay, in determining the value of Vt at the 100th epoch, this first gradient is given very low importance. Okay, this is the major modification that is brought in the RMSProp optimizer. Okay, now let us see a small mathematical example on how this RMSProp values are working. Okay, first let us assume V0 is equal to 0 and beta value is equal to 0.95. Okay, these are the initial assumptions. Now let us start with V1. Okay, what is just I am calculating this entire term value. Okay, I am calculating this term value so you can understand better. Okay, now V1 is nothing but beta times, okay, beta is nothing but 0.95, right? 0.95 times V0. Okay, what is V0 value? 0. Sorry, this is 0.95 plus 0.05. So this entire term becomes 0. I'll be left out with this term. Okay, this is the value of V1. Now let us calculate V2. V2 is nothing but 0.95 times of V1. So what is V1 over here? It is 0.05 into delta Wt whole square plus 0.05 delta Wt whole square. Okay, this is the value of V2. Now we will be stopping at V3 and we will be seeing the small intuition over there. Now what is V3? It is 0.92 times of V2. No, 0.95. Just a second. It is 0.9. Yeah, 0.95 into 0.05 into Ut square plus wait, yeah, 0.05 times of delta Wt square plus, I think bracket closes over here, and 0.05 times of delta Wt. Okay, now wait, let me just expand so that you'll be having the better clarity over here. Okay, let me just expand over here. This V3 is nothing but, no, this is the entire first term. Okay, this is our entire first term, that is 0.95, 0.95 into 0.05 into delta Wt whole square, right? Now this will be 0.95 into 0.05 into delta W3 whole square plus 0.05 delta WT whole square. Yeah, this is the entire V3 value. Okay, this is my first term, this is my second term, and this is my third term. Okay, means I'm using three epochs. Okay, I'm just calculating for the three epochs. Now this is the gradient. Okay, this is the importance of the gradient of first epoch. Okay, this value is the importance of the gradient in the first sorry, this value is the gradient in the first epoch, and this is the importance given to the gradients in the third epoch. Okay, this delta Wt is the gradient at the first epoch. Okay, but this numerical value, okay, this numerical values are the importance. Okay, the amount of importance that is given to this delta Wt. Okay, the amount of importance that is given to the delta Wt at the third epoch. Okay, you're understanding, right? This is the importance given at the third epoch to the first gradient value. Okay, to the very first gradient value. Now this is the importance given to the second gradient value at the third epoch, and this is the current. Okay, this is the importance given to the current gradient value. Now you can see that this entire numerical value is some smaller value, means at the calculation, okay, at the calculation of v3, okay, at the time of calculation of v3, we are giving least importance to the gradient of the first epoch. Okay, at the calculation of v3, okay, the calculation of v3 of current gradient, we are giving very much smaller importance to the gradient at the very first epoch. Okay, now followed by the second epoch gradient, and the more importance, okay, more importance is given to the current gradient value. Okay, similarly it happens for hundreds of epochs. Okay, if we set it for 100 epoch, the first epoch value is given very lower importance than the 100th epoch gradient. Okay, so due to this, what happens is, as you sum up these values, okay, as you sum up these values, this would be definitely a smaller value. Okay, as you sum up this would be definitely a smaller value, so that this entire term, okay, this entire term doesn't get too much bigger, and this entire term doesn't get too much smaller as the number of epochs get increased. Okay, this is the entire intuition of RMSProp optimizer. Okay, now in the next section of the video, we'll be seeing how to implement this RMSProp optimizer on a sparse data set. Okay,
now let us implement the RMSProp optimizer on a sparse dataset. Okay, for that I have imported my necessary libraries, and this is my sparse dataset which contains mostly zeros. Okay, this is my model. Now here I am defining my RMSProp optimizer. Okay, optim.rmsprop. Okay, this is how you implement RMSProp optimizer in your code. Okay, optim.rmsprop. Okay, previously in AdaGrad also we have done the same thing, optim.adagrad. Now in this RMSProp we have various optimizers. Now first comes the learning rate. Okay, this is the initial learning rate that you set. Okay, from that initial learning rate, the lowering of learning rate starts as the number of epochs increases. Okay, this is the initial learning rate. Now alpha value is nothing but the beta value. Okay, the beta value in the formula. Okay, alpha value is set to 0.99. Okay, basically it is set to some higher value so that you get the better performance. Now here this epsilon value specifies now in the formula under root of Vt plus epsilon. Okay, we have done under root of Vt plus epsilon. This epsilon value is added so that when Vt becomes 0, the entire term becomes infinity. So as you add this epsilon value, some smaller numerical value, what happens is this prevents from getting the term into infinity. Okay, so that is why you choose this epsilon value as some smaller value. Okay, epsilon value is equal to 1 e minus 8. And weight decay is equal to 0. Now as this is an regression problem, we choose MSE loss function, and this is our training loop and our results. Okay, these are our training results for the 100th epoch. Now the loss value is 0.2214. Okay, the 100th epoch I got the loss as 0.2214, but previously on the same dataset the AdaGrad optimizer has got some loss around 0.3491. Okay, now the RMSProp optimizer has performed better than the AdaGrad optimizer. Okay, you can see the clear difference over here. At the 100th epoch I got this loss value, and at the 100th epoch for the same dataset I got some better loss value. Okay, means some lower loss value. Okay, this is how RMSProp is performing better than AdaGrad optimizer. Okay, hope you guys like this video. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.